All right, we good now. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. I hope all is well with you. I hope that you have had an amazing Wednesday. I am so excited to be with you guys once again for another awesome edition of Dialogues with Doc. I was having some Teddy Riley-ish technical issues. So if you're watching right now, let me know in the chat if you can hear me clearly. I do not want to give you Teddy Riley tonight. I want to give you Dr. Calvin Green. So if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, say, yeah, you're good. Uh, Sounds clear. Give me something. Let me know something, everybody, if you're watching. I would greatly appreciate it. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Hump day. What's up? So I think you guys can hear me clearly now. There's somebody. Somebody gonna hold. Tasha, hey, thank you. Tasha can hear me. Okay, I'm good. What's up, WC? Okay, we're good now. When I come on Wednesdays, I do not want to give you Teddy Riley at all. I want to give you Dr. Verde. So we're good now. So listen, today is Wednesday, May 19th, 2021, and this is this week's edition of Dialogues with Doc. Listen, I want to profusely apologize to you guys because I have missed you guys. It's been 2 weeks since I did a show, and I want to apologize to you guys from the bottom of my heart. Last week, life happens. We were in full graduation season, so the seniors in my school had a white party, and as a senior chaperone, I had to be there, so I was unable to do my show last week. So I did miss you guys, so I do apologize profusely for that. It'll never happen again. I will definitely let you guys know if I'm unable to do a show, but we're back this Wednesday, brand new show, brand new topic. Your boy's back in the hot seat, making things happen. And I'm just so excited to be with you guys again for another awesome Wednesday. So if you are a senior or have a child that's a senior that's about to graduate or is graduating, congratulations. So all the college graduates, congratulations to you as well. And as we continue to go through the rest of graduation season, I want to extend my congratulatory remarks to each and everybody and their family members who are going through that awesome and amazing accomplishment. So I'm back. It's Wednesday. Let's rock. You know the house rules. We do have some house rules when you watch Dialogues with Doc. It's another week. Nothing has changed. The house rules are what? Still the same. You know what they are. Like, comment, subscribe, and subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Those are the house rules. It's very simple. So if you're watching right now, do me a favor. If you're on the YouTube channel, subscribe to my channel. If you're watching on Facebook Live, please share the broadcast for me. If you're watching the show and want to comment, feel free to comment. And if you do me a favor and share the broadcast as well, that would be awesome. I would greatly appreciate it, sir and ma'am. So listen, also, there have been some things happening behind the scenes. So I just want to give you guys a couple reminders so you guys can continue to support me as I continue to move this awesome body of work that I do each and every Wednesday. And also as I continue to do some other things behind the scenes as well. So don't forget, I have a podcast. So the Dialogues with Doc podcast is available on Anchor. It's on Spotify. And I'm also working on other streaming platforms as well. So there is a small extraction of the weekly show like we do now on the podcast platforms of Anchor and Spotify. So do me a favor, go ahead and go on over to Anchor and Spotify. I've already uploaded 3 episodes, 3 previous former episode snippets of Dialogues with Doc onto the podcast, and I'm about to release some more. We've had some amazing guests come on the show. I just want to continue putting this great content out, continue having these great topics, these great conversations, and just kind of get some more insight with what you guys are actually interested in and continue to move this awesome body of work forward. If you are watching right now, let me know where you're watching from. I want to shout you out. I want to say hello. I want to say, hey, Ray Ray, hey, Pookie, hey, whoever is watching. If you're watching to support someone that's one of my guests, I want to appreciate you as well and say, hey, how you doing? I'm going to hold it down once again for the whole DMV area. So the DC area, the Maryland area, the Virginia area. I'm going to hold it down for the whole DMV on tonight. If you're watching, let me know where you are watching from. Cedar Hill is in the building. Tasha, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for saving my life. Teacher Appreciation Week for my staff. Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week for my staff was awesome and amazing. Touch up to Neil came through. I appreciate you more than words can express. And shoot me a text when you get that check because I want to make sure that you got it because I like to take care of my people. All right. So Tasha, amazing. Amazing. Tasha has been one of my show sponsors before, A Touch Up to Neil. If you're on Facebook, Go to the A Touch of Tennille page right now and follow her. She does some amazing, amazing, some amazing. She has some amazing products for any and everybody. So she has some and can do pretty much anything. So go to her page right now and click the like button and subscribe so you get updates from her channel as well. Oh, there it is, A Touch of Tennille. That's what it is. Go to the page, like it, tell them I sent you. Use the code Doc Verde. I don't know. I just made up a code. It's not a code. I'm just playing. But go over there and support her. Support her Black-owned business as she continues to do great things. So listen, guys. Tonight's show is going to be amazing. I have some amazing guests who are going to be joining me. And what I try to do each and every week is I try to come up with an awesome and amazing topic with some dynamic guests on to join me to talk about different things and just how they maneuver or how the work that they do impacts across the board. So, we've done shows on parenting in a pandemic. I had a show called Pastoring in a Pandemic. I've had Black male educators. I've had Black female educators. We've done one on mental health. Last year I turned 40 and we're in the middle of a pandemic. So I did a show called I'm 40 Now What? So we've done a bunch of different topics since we launched this thing off in August of 2020. Remember, Dialogues with Doc was birthed during the midst of COVID. I just wanted to simply provide a safe space and platform to talk about different topics and different subjects. So this is what we've been doing. We've been rocking and we've been rolling. We've had some amazing guests. We've had some amazing topics. And tonight is going to be nothing different from that. When I was coming up with tonight's discussion topic and coming up with tonight's guest, I don't know if anyone understands what goes on behind the scenes. I'm very strategic in what it is that I do, in everything that I do. There's always a method to my madness. I wanted to clearly do a show and have some guests on who are great in their own crafts, but I wanted to honor them. I wanted to celebrate them. I wanted to engage and have dialogue with them, and I wanted to just applaud them for the work that they are doing. So, I'm connected to a bunch of people, and whenever I come up with a topic, I say, okay, God, who do you want me to reach out to? Who do you want me to extend an invitation to? And God is so strategic in all that he does. He put people on my reign like that. So the people that I have on each and every week, they're God ordained. They've been sent by God. They've connected me to them. And that's how I come up with my guests for the shows that I do. So tonight's show is very, very special to me. And I titled it COVID Champions. But as I was on my fitness gig today, I rode my bike this morning, did my walking this evening. I changed it. So tonight's show is basically I'm changing the topic from COVID champions to COVID superheroes. So tonight's show is going to be a little bit different because I'm changing the topic, but it's still the same great content, still the same great guests, still the same great dialogue, still the same great conversation. Jay Hood, I had to ride my bike, man. I'm trying to get down and get small like you, brother. Yeah, rode my bike. And I walked this evening. So yeah, I'm feeling like I'm real skinny right now. But yeah, I changed the topic to COVID superheroes. So, and the reason why I said COVID superheroes is I was very intentional because these individuals that I have on with me tonight, I went from champion to superheroes because these individuals have served tirelessly in the midst of a pandemic. They have served nonstop. They are doing great things in their crafts. They are just raising the bar with each and everything that they do. So I said tonight, I want to celebrate some people that I'm connected to. And yeah, I said COVID champions on the flyer, but I'm taking point of personal privilege and changing the topic of tonight's show to the COVID superheroes. So the COVID superheroes are on with me on tonight. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. I pray that you guys will hear something or that they share something that will just be influential to you, informational to you, and inspirational to you as well. This is going to be great. This is going to be awesome. Of course, this is Dialogues with Doc. And, I only know how to bring my guests on one particular way. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I forget, tonight's show is sponsored by, I told y'all, one of these weeks, I was going to say, tonight's show is sponsored by me. Tonight's show is sponsored by me. You know, they say the more you speak something, the more it begins to happen. And I said, one of these weeks, I'm going to have a show sponsor. And I got one tonight. So tonight's show is sponsored by the R.S. Gibbs Funeral Home. If you're in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or in the surrounding area, the Delaware Valley, R.S. Gibbs Funeral Home is an amazing, amazing, amazing funeral home that will help you from start to finish. They will help you with your pre-need, your burial assessments, planning out funerals and things like that. This is the place to be. So I'm going to tonight have R.S. Gibbs Funeral Home be my sponsor. You can contact them at 215-880-8128, and they're located at 5507 Germantown Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So tonight's show is sponsored by the R.S. Gibbs Funeral Home in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Again, 215-880-8128. Call them, tell them Doc Verde sent you, and they will be glad to help you. And again, if you're interested in becoming a show sponsor, we have one time, we have monthly, we have quarterly. Just holler at your boy, drcalvin.green@gmail.com. I would love to have you and support your business. So that's it for tonight. All right, now to my guests. You guys know I come with all the energy and excitement. I can only bring my guest on Dialogues with Doc one way. My people coming on right, so it's got to be done right. So give me 1 second to make it happen. I'll be right back after these messages. My brethren, how are you, gentlemen?
Hello. How you doing?
Good evening.
Man, I am great, man. I am great. I'm awesome. I'm so glad to have you guys joining me. This is going to be amazing. I thank each of you for your time. I thank you for your service. Thank you for your dedication. And I thank you just for being who you are. Kobe, how are you? Doc, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, I'm excited. I got a black male round table tonight. And I don't know if you heard in my intro that I changed my topic tonight from COVID champions to COVID superheroes. You gentlemen tonight that are joining me, I say I don't use the word superhero lightly. You both, hold on 1 second.
Hello.
How, gentlemen,
Hi.
have been serving tirelessly throughout this pandemic. So I don't call you a champion. I call you a superhero. You're coming from different areas tonight, and the work that you do has not stopped. The work that you all do should be celebrated. The work that you all do should be should be celebrated, should be applauded, and I just want to take the time tonight to do that with each and every one of you guys. So I have Mr. Kobe Lewis, Dr. Chris Barksdale, and Mr. Romaine S. Gibbs, licensed funeral director, who's also our show sponsor for tonight, joining me on the COVID Superhero Show. So glad to have you, gentlemen.
Hello.
Pleasure to be here.
So my brothers, I'm excited to just have four black men on a show tonight talking about the work that we are continuing to do in the midst of this pandemic. So I want to start out with just a general, basic question, and anyone can jump in and start this thing off. How have you been maneuvering through this pandemic? Before I get into the show, I always like to ask this question before I get into what I really want to talk about. But I'm just, I know it's a lot. We're in a space where the work that each of us do daily is a lot, and people pull on us a little bit more because of this pandemic. But just how have you been maneuvering through it? And anyone can jump in and get started.
Well, I'll start us off for dialogue with Dr. Calvin Green. First, thank you for having me. Thank you for the work that you're doing to create this platform for us as Black men to come and just dialogue and uplift each other and also learn from each other. I've participated in the sessions and learned a lot. So just a privilege to be here, and also nice to meet you, other gentlemen. Thank y'all for your service. But in regards to the question, how have I been maneuvering through the pandemic? When I think of one word that best describes this pandemic and how I have made it through, it is resilience. And this pandemic has taught me a lot about myself. It has definitely challenged me to focus on protecting my peace every single day. It has not only challenged me professionally and personally, but it's also just taught me to really appreciate my support circle, my family members, those that are ride or die, that really know me and support me, to keep me uplifted.
Gotta have that support system, man. Who's next? Kobe, jump in here.
How y'all doing? I'm Kobe Lewis. Brother, thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be here and to join you other guys here. So, how have I been maneuvering through it? I actually think that it's been a blessing and a curse. It's kind of allowed us to be able to sit down a little bit and be able to take time to get some things done or take time to be involved with some people that we needed to be involved with that, we were too busy, to actually sit down and get involved. So I do see it as a somewhat of a blessing because I've seen a lot of blessings come from this, but still with the whole health reasonings and things of that nature as well, it's also been a curse. But maneuvering through it, I'm taking it day by day, taking every step as a blessing. And cherishing every day as if it's my last, because you never know nowadays. So
no, man, no, you're right. You're right. I like what you said about the time thing, because I always say I don't have enough time. COVID made me sit my butt down and go back and revisit some stuff or get rid of some stuff, or it gave me the time to strategically think. I mean, that's how this platform came about. I came up with it during COVID. I just wanted to provide a platform to talk about different topics with amazing guests, and I got my brothers on here with me tonight. You see, I got the time. I got the time.
Right.
Romaine, jump in here, man. You've been busy. How have you been maneuvering through this pandemic?
Absolutely. First of all, hello, gentlemen. How are you all? I'm with these guys. I mean, this pandemic has showed us so much, especially when it comes to our own selves. I'm like these guys, I would say, I don't have the time, I can't do this, I wish I had more time with my son. So this pandemic has allowed us to, find time. You had more than enough time, especially when we were shut down and shut in. You had nothing but time to do a lot. And it helped us to, especially me, it helped me to figure out some stuff about myself I didn't know, So it has been amazing. It has some curses to it as well, because we got to watch our health as well. But I must say that coming out of this pandemic, I'm much stronger than what I was before we went in. I'm a little bit more at ease. I watch my energy around me. Mindful. I found out who was for me, who wasn't for me. So it showed us a lot. So it definitely has its blessings and its curse. But most of all, I'm blessed through this pandemic.
Awesome. And Romaine, I want to say thank you for coming back. You've been on a show before, but thank you for having time to come back and rock with your boy. And I'll be reaching out to y'all, Doc and Kobe too. So get ready. So listen. This thing off would really it should be my first question, but I like to start off with how you're maneuvering, just to do like a self check. Tell us about your journey, how you ended up doing this great work. So I called you all superheroes because the pandemic came, but the work that each of you do did not stop. Kobe, I see your videos, the way you engage your students through TikToks and make learning and engagement fun. I love it. Doc, you left a school to go open up another school in the midst of a pandemic. I'll let you touch that. And Romaine, on the funeral director side, you shared a story with me one time where when COVID first hit, you had to go to traders and pick up people that were passing away. So tell us about your journey in regards to how you end up doing the work that you do. Anybody can jump in.
I guess I'll go first. Well, I am right now, I'm an educator, I'm a teacher. Along with, I'm also a tutoring, and I create like educational songs for different teachers just to make their learning style more engaging.
Mhm.
So how
Entrepreneur.
basically
Gotcha.
an entrepreneur.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
how I journeyed and through this great work. I started off in education and looking at education as a student. I noticed that it was just a job for most teachers. And
Mhm.
it wasn't a passion, it was just a paycheck. And I noticed that the students were able to realize that as well. So I wanted to make sure when I did go in the classroom, I made it engaging, I made it fun. And when the pandemic happened, you know, it was a panic for a lot of us in education, honestly, you know,
Yeah.
because we were doing paperwork. Now we had to hold up. We got to do everything virtual. So it was really kind of like a wait a minute. But I use this as an opportunity to be able to connect more with my students. I tried to figure out what do these kids like? You know, what are they doing? I
Mhm.
noticed that they're always on TikTok. They're always playing video games. They're always doing this. So I utilize those methods and help make learning fun. I I never thought that I would be doing a TikTok, but I do one like every day now. You know, but the students are
You're
are the ones
addicted to
that they
TikTok.
requested. Mr. Lewis, can you do this? Mr. Lewis, can you do that? But I noticed that connects with them, and then when I teach them what they need to know, they value it more because I built their relationship through this pandemic, through the social media. So a lot of my students now are doing better than they were before the pandemic, and I think that's just along with trying different methods that you know it was a trial and error. I'm not go you know sit here and act like it just started off real good. It's been a trial and error trying to
Yeah.
figure out the perfect way to get to these students virtually, but
Mhm.
figuring out that the social media way was the way and the students are engaged in their learning. And I feel like this pandemic has really helped a lot of teachers too to
Yeah.
craft, you know, better their craft as well.
I promise y'all, I'm not being rude. I'm always taking show notes as y'all say stuff. So if you see my hand go down, I'm right. Kobe, you said if you teach them to connect with them, they'll value it more. I like when you said that because I'm having this struggle now with, as I explained to my teachers personally. Kobe's not coming to class, but what are you doing to engage him to want to come virtually? What are you doing to hone and build up on your craft even more to make them not want to miss your class? It's not the fact that they're just missing to miss. They have to want to be there. So the way you've connected with them and built that relationship and rapport with them makes them know I can't miss Mr. Lewis' class because I know he's going to do something fun today, and then tie it back to the actual concept that we're learning for the day. I love that. Who's next? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut anybody off that was getting
I
ready to
can
jump in.
piggyback off of Mr. Lewis. I'm an educator as well. Born and raised from a family of educators, and was mentoring youth at an early age. And I actually started off the pandemic as a principal at an all-male middle school, Young Men's Leadership Academy here in Dallas. And when it happened, Mr. Lewis was right. We was totally shocked. Last March, we had to pivot quickly, come up with, a clear plan to continue business as usual for our young men, but also not only continue business as usual, but make sure they had access to the internet so that we could even connect with them. Also, just access to food because the pandemic hit, most of our low income neighborhoods the hardest. And so that was the biggest point. And so it really made me reflect on my role as the leader. And not only am I here to serve students, but, to impact our community. And I felt like we were, continuously making plans to get students devices and laptops. Once we were coming back to school, we kept making phase-in plans, continuing to make sure that we were providing meals for the community. And it also, led me to open and receive another opportunity to become the founding principal at Dr. Frederick D. Hayes III Global Preparatory Academy. I know there might be a couple of Paul Quinn alumni on the call, so big shout out to the Quinnite Nation.
Hold on real quick.
I don't think of myself as a champion. I just think of this.
Real quick. I keep it up a chill a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I had to represent for a minute. I mean, since you went there, I had to represent. You know what I'm saying?
I just thought I'd shout y'all out. But again, I don't think of myself as a champion. This is just the work that I have been called to do, and just provide the best service for students and the community as a whole.
I love it. I love it. Romaine, yeah, you
Definitely not an educator, but we'll talk about this. I'm an educator, but I'm not an educator. Yeah, so I mean, my journey is a little different. Go ahead.
Well, Romaine, I'm gonna jump in here with you as well because we're talking about superheroes, but you really got two jobs, so you got to pick which one. You talk about both of them because both of them have not quit in the midst of the pandemic. But you go right ahead.
Oh God, we got to talk about both. Right, it's two. So it's the funeral home part of me, and it's also being a bishop. Okay, so that's a lot going on. My job never ended. Of course, with this pandemic, especially stay on funeral service. I have had a major journey because again, I had to deal with the stuff that everybody didn't have to deal with. That's basically with the whole COVID, hitting, people passing away, families being destroyed, people passed away unexpectedly. A lot of people thought, when it came to COVID, that it was a joke. It wasn't a joke. I literally between last March, I would say, I had to actually rebuild a part of my building, which was I was using for church. I had to take the church and flip it and use it as a morgue. Again, it was a lot. So I had to use it as a morgue and trying to survive the whole pandemic and not knowing what was going on and hoping I don't get sick and all the crazy. It's been a lot, but we made it and we're still dealing with it. God is good. I was able to touch a lot of lives even in the midst of it. It's very unfortunate. I hear you guys talking about a lot of, youth and doing what you're doing. I had a lot of young people pass away from COVID, so it was really hard, especially when it came to, trying to find ways to create a service of parents and friends and, they can have some type of memory. It's been a lot, but, my creativity jumped in. God was on my side. We got it done. And we're here, but we continue to. You guys are educators, but I continue to educate even as I go along. It's not just COVID-19. It's a lot of stuff. It's drugs. It's murders. Philadelphia, especially. The murder rate is crazy right now. So I educate a lot. I have brought young people into the morgue. If you don't remember, I went viral one time because I had a young man that was murdered, and the family and friends wanted to retaliate. I brought those young men into the morgue. I said, dress your friend. Is it worth it? Is it worth laying here? So it's been a lot. We had to find ways to be creative, to deal with the pandemic, to deal with COVID-19, to deal with the murders, the drugs, but we made it through.
Now, I want to ask this question, gentlemen. Did anybody? So for me, I'm an educator, but I landed here. This wasn't my path. Was being an educator something you always wanted to do? And Romaine, was being a funeral director something you always wanted to do? I was a career changer. So I was a business major at Paul Quinn, and something with education bit me my last semester, and that's how I ended up maneuvering quickly into the field of education to start my master's degree. Does anybody have an experience similar to that, or did they always know you wanted to be a funeral director or an educator turned principal or a teacher?
I was kind of similar to that, only in that I was born into education. I think everybody in my family is educated. My mom is educated. My sister, my aunt is a former principal. I started off college in New York at Long Island University as well as a business major, but something just didn't feel right. And so quickly made the adjustment into education, and I've been in education for the past 14 years. So I guess you could say, yes, I always knew I was going to be an educator.
Born in.
Yes.
Yeah, my journey was a little different. I didn't know I was going to be an educator. I knew I was called, but didn't accept the calling until God was ready for me to do it. So I started off. I graduated with criminal justice. I actually worked at Lou Steric, was about to try to get into law school, and then I started working at the church with our youth, and I was like, oh, you know what? I can actually do this. So that kind of segued me into getting my alternative certification, and then being able to get hired as a teacher and just been going ever since. So it was kind of like God sent me to it, because I didn't know exactly. I thought I was gonna be a lawyer or something, but hey, look at me now.
Look at you now, man, impacting the masses. I love it. I love it.
With me, I wouldn't say I was born into this, but I was born with the gift. And I must say that I come from a family, and I'm being very honest. We was a family full of drug dealers, etc. And so this young black boy decided to pursue education and do what was needed. Now, I wanted to be a funeral director so bad. I was, I would go past funeral homes. I would walk on people's funerals. Don't know who these people is, and go in there and look at the bodies and all types of stuff. I wanted to do it so bad, but I think that my issue is that you can be your worst enemy sometimes. And I had to encourage myself and push myself, and that's what I did. I encouraged myself, pushed myself, and ended up going to college. And I found out, it was a process, but I found out that I'm gifted to do this, because this is just not about money. It's not just a business. This is ministry. You're dealing with different types of people with different emotions and all types of stuff. So this is ministry. I deal with a lot. But I enjoy it. And I think I landed the gift. I'm doing all right. And besides, I mean, it's better than me having an ordinary job, because I used to always get in arguments and get fired. So now I gotta worry about my arguments.
So gentlemen, I wanna go here. I don't care what everybody else says. I'm gonna give you the title, take it and embrace it. They'll have to catch me on the street and try to fight me if they want to take the title back. You guys are essential workers, basically. As you've gone through this pandemic, as these COVID superheroes, the teaching didn't stop, the funerals didn't stop, the leadership of running schools didn't stop. So you all are essential workers. Whether we want to get up or not, we had to get up and do whatever it was that we were called to do. Assignments have due dates, callings don't. These are our callings. So we're essential workers at this point. How have you embraced this title? Meaning, Mr. Lewis, their parent knew their child was bad when you told them last year in the parent-teacher conference. Now they're thinking, Mr. Lewis wasn't lying. My kid does have some issues. Dr. Barksdale saved my child from suspension multiple times. Maybe Dr. Barksdale was right about Johnny, because I don't know how Dr. Barksdale does it, because I can't even do it. Romaine, I had to fight you to go get the vaccine, because you didn't even know you was eligible for it. I'm like, no, you're an essential worker. Go get that bad boy. How do you embrace this title of being an essential worker? The world may say you're not, but essentially you are, and COVID has proven that.
Right. I think I'll go. Calvin, when you said that just number you had to fight me to get the vaccine, you really did have to fight. I didn't know. But I think that I was so. You know what? It's not even about the title. It's my duty. It's a ministry. I'm saying it again. So I was so caught up in doing the work that I forgot about titles. You know what I mean? I did what I had to do. This is what I called to do. This is what I signed up for. This is what I took an oath for. And I have to get it done. Again, we are essential. But again, it has been a process. But I do what I do. And just to see at the end of the day, them families, they like, thank you so much. They're so appreciative. They bring me dinner, they get gifts and stuff like that. But it's just, I didn't see a title. I didn't see the title as a funeral director. This is my ministry. I'm doing what I have to do. So at the end of the day, if you guys want to give me the superhero title, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, all of y'all.
Work. You had to be a superhero for this work. I'm here to tell you that right now. There ain't nothing about it. But
it ain't for the faint at heart. It ain't for the faint at heart at all.
No, it's not.
It's gonna be some days you want to fight, some days you want to cuss,
Oh
some
yeah,
days.
yeah. It
What is?
was a many a days, honestly speaking, it was a many a days that I was like, I can't take this no more. I laugh real fast because I'm just a realist. I laugh because I remember when the pandemic first started. I mean, I had the question. I was working so hard. You're getting 10 calls a day, from all over the world. You're trying to locate people, loved ones that are, again, in trailers and in hospitals. They can't find them and different stuff. I remember I was barely sleeping. I was barely eating. I was barely changing my clothes. Like, this is how bad it was. Literally, by the time I got home, it's like I get home, I go to work, I leave out 9 o'clock, I wouldn't come home to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm up again 6 o'clock trying to prepare for service. My job was a little bit more complicated, I would say. It's because I had to still do it in person, to a certain extent. You know what I mean? So, and then still protecting myself. So it was a lot going on, but at the end of it, I made it through. So I'm grateful to this day. It showed me a lot. Even now it showed me a lot. And I got more power and strength than I thought I actually had. it broke me in as a real funeral director. It broke me in. So yeah.
And Doc and Kobe, you guys jump in there because we've gone through the virtual, hybrid.
Yeah.
Now we in person. So we essentially didn't have a choice on the education side. Jump in there and let's talk about it.
I think I'm the same, and just like Gibbs, this is ministry, and I truly believe that I was called to do this work, and that's what got me up every day. To see kids engaged, we went from trying to disseminate devices to kids to coming back to some kids coming back for hybrid learning, trying to teach students that are in person and virtual. So the main thing was, I think, I don't see myself as a champion. I don't see myself as essential. I don't see myself as a superhero. This is just the work that I was called to do. And I wanted to create a sense of normalcy for students to come back to, but also some excitement and joy. And I had to make sure that I was pouring into myself so that I can pour into other teachers, and also modeling, the Zoom fatigue is real. And so just trying to keep adults engaged so that they can turn around and model that for their students. That was one of the most important things that I was trying to do, just to kind of liven it up and make sure that we were keeping students engaged and coming to school every day. But also one of the things that kept me going is when we were feeding families, the line of families that were in line waiting for food, that was, just eye-opening to see. And so that is also, just kept me going as well.
Love it.
Just like the other two guys, I definitely didn't see myself as an essential worker or a champion. I always seen this as a calling that I was supposed to do. So education never stopped. Even with the pandemics, I found ways to, I knew this was a hard time for parents because them, probably haven't had 20+ years of educational experience, had to now become the teacher. Wow. So, a lot of parents really had to come to teachers like, hey, we respect y'all. We see what y'all do. Like, look, more power to you. But I seen that as an opportunity to help the parents, So I was doing different videos to maybe show this way of how to do compared to how they multiply now using Eureka and all of that compared to how we used to multiply. So being able to bring that connection, I was able to see that parents needed help. And so why not create videos to help our parents out? Because I know it's a struggle for them. So I seen it as an opportunity to grow the ministry of education and to make it more engaging and to build more families to love education a little bit more. I was able to build, have a lot of clientele that wanted tutoring just to make sure that their kids are staying on track and not losing the things that they were already taught. So this was an opportunity. It was an eye opener for a lot of parents and a lot of individuals. And like now, we're still teaching virtually and in person at the same time. You know, so teachers, I see old school teachers that ain't never touched a computer in their life working it, you know, so it's real, for real. You know, I had to help a
Seriously,
lady,
like,
you know, so it's amazing to see
baby,
how.
baby, how you open up Microsoft Word, baby? I ain't never did this before. I know we've had that. How, I was supposed to say,
Seriously.
how do I save my lesson plan to send it to Principal Parksdale? Yeah, I mean, this is you know, it's either
Seriously.
get with the shift or get shifted. It's basically what it's become for many of us educators. Though I love it. I just wanted to call you. I wanted to label you gentlemen finding essential workers because we haven't stopped. And essentially, this is what we do. This is what we're called to do. It doesn't seem like work to us. It's our calling. So yeah, we are pretty much essential workers. While you guys are saying everyone else is, so are the gentlemen in the industries on the line tonight. So thank you. I want to go here, and I'll start with Doc. What's been the biggest challenge for you professionally and personally throughout this pandemic? So we're a year and a half into this thing. It's probably the longest span of time we've had to just try to figure stuff out. So can you think about what's been your biggest challenge on the professional side and then on the personal side? And I'll come around and ask the other gentlemen as well.
So professionally, I think the biggest challenge is with what we're already talking about is in engaging students, getting them to show up every day. I think for a while there, after we came back, we had a challenge. We gave out all these laptops now where our students on a daily basis showing up to class at. And so in just finding creative ways to get in front of students, to help them learn the material, to make sure that they're not building these learning gaps, to find out different ways to be creative, to be innovative. I love the idea of using TikTok to meet kids where they are, as adults as well. We all need those moments of just, not related to the content, but just engagement opportunity. And so I think that was the biggest struggle. Personally, the biggest challenge was, the pandemic in 2020, Audacity was at an all-time high. So it really showed me who is really for me and who's really in my circle. And it was an eye-opener in many different ways because it was many people that I thought would be in my life forever. But just an opportunity to get rid of relationships that were not building me and leading me to ultimately to where my future's leading to.
Love it. I love it, man. I love it. Romaine, jump in here, man. Yeah. I knew. Well, I ain't gonna tell you. So now this is like my best friend, y'all. Like my best friend, my brother. So I'm not gonna tell this business. I'm gonna let him tell it.
I mean, so professionally, I would say, with all the restrictions that have been in place, it's hard to tell a family, you only can have 10 people at a funeral service. You know what I mean? And then a woman got, just say for instance, a woman got 5 kids and 20 grandchildren, but you only can have 10 people at a funeral service. So that was a lot. It was a lot of curse outs and etc. And just trying to maneuver to still keep a smile, to still serve, to still keep my ratings at a high level. The restrictions really, really took a toll on us, And again, trying to explain, we just trying to abide by the regulations, trying to keep everybody safe, keep ourselves safe. So it has been a lot. But again, I learned a lot through the process. I learned a lot of patience, a lot of patience. I was still, and I'm going to talk about it for a moment. I'm just going to say I was still, even in the midst of dealing with all that was going on, my personal issues. I was facing divorce. I had a lot of issues going on, personally. But again, when you are called to do something and when you sign up to do something, you throw all your mess aside and deal with what you have to deal with in that moment. You can't be selfish to what you signed up for.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot. I learned a lot of patience. I learned how to live my life every day as if it's the last day. I don't take no day for granted. If I feel like getting up and going to sit at the water and the beach, that's what I'm going to do. Calvin will tell you, that's what I'm
Mm.
going to do. I feel like get on the plane and going somewhere, that's what I'm going to do. You know, I have workers in place. I love them dearly, but they'll tell you, he's probably not coming in today. No, that's I learned to live life. I learned to enjoy it, you know, because
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, you know, we saw a lot of people lose their lives. We saw a lot of people affected. You know, it affected us. It didn't have to be the actual virus, but people close to us were affected. You know, we lost people that we knew that were affected by it.
Mhm.
So throughout this pandemic, you know, professionally, it was a lot of, you know, trying to deal with the different restrictions in place and finding ways to still serve families at a level of excellence, which we did. But personally, I learned a lot of patience. I learned to enjoy life, and every day I get up, I treat it just as if it's my last.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Kobe, jump in here, you doing a lot too, man.
Professionally, I would have to say the biggest challenge was transitioning back into in person, having to
Mhm.
find that balance to make sure that the students were still being serviced, but still being safely serviced. So they're having to stay
Mhm.
6 feet apart. I can't quite go up to them and show them exactly how to do their problem. They still have to be on the computer inside the class. So that whole transitional aspect was definitely a challenge because you wanted to keep the students engaged and you wanted to keep them, but you still had to make sure that their safety was first and had to remind the students like, hey, make sure you pull the mask up, keep the mask up, so just things like that and being able to, I don't even, some students, you still don't know how they look because that's all you see. So being able to know like, hey, this is the new norm now, and the mask thing and just learning the new norms. It's crazy how we transition so quickly into this new norm. And the world has adapted to it. But personally, I recently made a post that stated, once I stopped worrying about what other people thought of me and started worrying about what God thought of me, that's when things start happening. And that's
Mhm.
exactly what's personally I would say has
Go ahead and
been
take it to church. All right.
Preach, brother.
challenge because this has
Pass the
really
Auburn play.
allowed me to tune into me and be able to use what God has given me and being able to spread it in the way that I want to spread it and live for me and what God has for me. So
Mhm.
that's exactly what I'm doing. I got a lot of things that I'm doing right now. I'm about to do. So I'm just excited to grow personally and grow
Mhm.
professionally and just see what God has for me and take the world by storm. Because
Well,
like I'm I'm
it's
I'm
right
I'm
there.
going all in.
You
No holding
all
back.
in. I mean, if I'm gonna do it, I may as well do it and
Might
do
as
it
well
full
do it.
throttle. And that's what we've been doing professionally through the midst of this pandemic. All of us on this call tonight, on this show tonight, have been doing it nonstop. We've been pressing and pushing and pressing and pushing, and it's just led us to the point of where nonstop, no matter what we're called to do, we definitely know that we've been called to do this work. And continue to do it with a certain level of excellence as we continue to push forth and push out. This wasn't a question that I sent you guys, but it just popped in my head, so I'm gonna go with it. What was your aha moment when you knew you were called to do this? It doesn't have to be during COVID, doesn't have to be through this pandemic, but what was the moment for you where you said, you know what, I may have been having some doubts about doing this professionally, but this thing happened or this moment happened, and you were like, I know I've been called to do this, what I'm doing here right now. Anybody want to jump in there?
I'll go. For me, I think, even today, I look at the number of students in the past 14 years in education that I've come in contact with, even on my Facebook page, that have reached out to me over the years, that have stayed in contact, the number of students that I have been able to impact and still follow me today and really look to me for mentorship. I think that has really just told me I'm doing the right thing. And there's a quote one of my former bosses told me, that even on your worst day, you're still some kid's greatest hope. And so I keep that with me. And, you know, that is what keeps me motivated and keeps me going to do this work. Just by, you know, the number of young learners that just have reached out to me and still reach out to me today.
I love it. I love it. It's like you wonder, like, some days, am I making an impact? And then you get a Facebook message or a text message from a former student like, thank you, Dr. Barzell, for not expelling me, or thank you for thank you for what you taught me in that moment. Those are the moments that we remember our why we're called to do this, or why we've been called to do the great work that we're doing. So no, thank you for sharing that. Who's next?
I guess I'll go. I believe that aha moment for me was actually my second year teaching. That was a student that was not a top tier student, and you know, them coming into the grade level not on grade level, but them leaving out knowing not probably still not on grade level, but was able to retain some information that they never was able to retain, was able to take some things with them to the next level. And I always I didn't always see it as, oh, they need to be on grade level, they need to be able to do this. I always seen it as long as they come out learning and gaining the knowledge that they needed. And being able to see one of those students retain some information and give it back to me, and then years later, I see them, you know, in high school, and they still remember something that I taught them through a song. You know, that lets me know that I'm doing something right, because he's in high school and he couldn't retain a lot of information when he was in my class, but he still remembers that song that I taught him, and that lets me know, like, man, okay, this is something that I feel like God's called me to do, and it's working.
And he probably had challenges learning with other teachers, but because of the impact Mr. Lewis made, as long as he came up, as long as he came up from where he came in at, that's what matters. I love how you said that he left greater than he came into the doors of your classroom. I love that, man. Romain, you probably had a bunch of moments, but
the real champion.
I have. I believe it was my first year. I walked out of a job making $130,000 a year. I was sought after as a young guy just coming out of college, you know, and finishing mortuary and whatever. I was sought after. And I worked for great companies. They paid me well, but I noticed that I was giving my vision away. I was giving what God had given me personally away. And I was beginning to build other people's brand and their companies. And, you know, and they was giving me more and more money. And you know, I had to make a decision because God was like, I'm calling you to your own. What are you doing? You know, you had enough time to learn, to train. And so I made a decision to walk out of the job. My first year, I opened my funeral home in 2014. If I can remember, my first year I opened my funeral home in 2014, and I was like, "Okay, God, man, what we gonna do?" Because you know, I got to survive. I got, you know, stuff I have to do. And when I opened my funeral home, I was so excited. I was like, "Okay, I'm open now. Let's go." My first loved one that I ever served was my own biological brother. That was murdered in the streets. And I was like, oh, this is not real. This is not realistic. And one of the things, God will test you. I don't want to turn this flip it, but God will test you.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Go
ahead. He will test you, you know, to see if you really, because a lot of people, they do what they do and they're doing it for the clout or they're doing it for something else, you know. But what do you do when you're called to do it and you're not getting what you're supposed to get from it? You know what I mean? And so I was like, I can't be my only brother. At that moment, I had to go from serving my brother to my mother becoming a client. I had to deal with a grieving mother that was my mother. I had to begin to, you know, I had emotions, but I had to get through this process because during this moment, this is what funeral service is all about. It's you have to now, you know, think for people. You have to now maneuver them. You have to now help them through. And my mother was the first one I had to do it. When I served, you know, my brother, and I remember when it's a rule in funeral service, when you lose someone close to you, you know, your friends are supposed to take the keys from you. They're supposed to go in and do everything. But I just I wasn't comfortable with that. I said, I can't allow anyone to just touch my brother. I have to go in there and do it. And so I went in the funeral home, and I did. I dressed my brother. I cussed him out while I was dressing him. I was talking to him. You know, I ended the next day. I was like, I ain't preaching. I ended up getting up. I preached the funeral. You know, that was a turn for me. Like, yeah, you called to do this, because you have to deal with. You can't get so caught up in it that you don't complete the assignment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so my first year, you know, after that, my first year, I remember I probably did 10, 15 funerals that year. I did the funerals for nothing. I was literally eating oodles and noodles, and I still eat oodles and noodles. So don't eat whatever. I don't care how much money I got. I'm going to eat my ramen noodles. Okay. And so, you know, I barely made nothing. And then my second year, my 10 turned to 30. And then by my third year, my 30 turned to 80. And so, long story short, you know, these families kept coming back to me for a reason. You know what I mean? And so this is when I realized, I said, you know, this is actually a call, and I'm called to do this. Romaine, why you didn't do this years ago? You got fired, you lost job. But I was actually called to do this. And when you can do something and it ain't all about the money, you know, just like, you know, you guys are educators. I'm pretty sure, you know, if you see a student that ain't got no shirt on, you're going to find them a shirt. It's not about the money. Yeah. This is what we have to do. We have to find ways to take care of people and serve people. And me being able to make a difference, even in funeral service, it showed me, you know, this is a call. This is what I'm supposed to do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Brothers, COVID taught us a lot. I know I love a hashtag. COVID taught me. Yeah. What did COVID teach you? For me, COVID taught me personally how to never give up. Like I said, there were things that I put by the wayside that COVID gave me the time to go back and pick up, gave me the time to perfect some things, to pick up some things that I put down, to perfect my craft, to be even more creative, are things that COVID taught me. But I want to ask each of you, what are some things, or what's something COVID has taught you as you continue to do this great work, to continue to be selfless, and you continue to pour out. There are some days when all you have is the residue at the bottom of the water bottle. Some days it's full. Other days it's just a little residue left at the bottom of the water bottle that we have. But what are some things that COVID has taught you to keep pushing, to keep empowering, to keep inspiring, to keep a smile on your face when some days all I got is the smile that's on my face? Anybody?
I guess I'll start. COVID has taught me peace. It's taught me how to not get angry or get upset or get worked up about different things anymore. It's taught me to not, you know, go through life having regrets and thinking negatively. So I always try to pour in positivity in my students. I pour in positivity in their parents. I pour positivity in everybody that I try to interact with. Just because it's why live a negative life? Yeah. You only go make yourself drain yourself. So I found peace. I the other day, I was driving, caught a flat tire. I noticed I probably would have gotten used to get mad, you know, for no reason. Like, how did I get this flat tire? But I caught a flat tire. I realized I was so calm in the situation. I just like, oh, you know, it was something that obviously could be changed. Why get worked up about, you know, something so simple? So I'm learning. COVID really has taught me peace, and I'm learning every day how to grow in that area.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna come back to that. Who's next? That peace thing is key. It's
for
key.
Me, I think COVID has taught me that every day is a gift from God. And Gibbs knows best that we have to value our family members and those who really are for us. And so it's really taught me to, you know, sit down and spend time with my family and my support circle. It's also taught me to protect my peace, the same, and, you know, being intentional about every day waking up putting my mind in the right place. Doc, you know, I'm usually commenting on something that you posted, you know, every morning, just uh, always just finding something positive. I'm a Virgo born in September, so when talking about social distancing and quarantine, we was waiting for that life. So, but it also taught me that you have to take action in being in isolation and being innovative, and also
Yeah,
remembering that you know your brand is really seen through the level of excellence that you provide in everything that you do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Romaine, COVID taught you what? Did I lose him? Oh, he got to there you go.
You bet.
What did COVID teach you, brother?
We on me?
Yeah,
Did my screen go out or all y'all screen went up?
just yours.
Oh,
But
okay.
you back now. You
Okay.
good. You good.
All right, good. I'm here. Here I go. COVID taught me to again to appreciate life. You know, to live life every day as if it's the last. I can't express that anymore. And it also taught me how to be still. I did a lot of movement. I was doing this. I was doing that. Yeah, I was really a superhero in other ways. But I was trying. I was doing so much that I was neglecting myself. You know, and when the pandemic hit, it was it was hard for me, you know, in the beginning stages, you know, sitting in the house. I'm like, I gotta sit in the house, I can't go to the restaurant. Okay, that means I gotta cook. You know, I can't I go in the store, they ain't got no bleach. I
That's a
got
Virgo dream, bro.
hand sanitizer. I learned how to wash my hands because of the pandemic. You know, it was so much, but it taught me something called survival. I learned how to survive, you know, at a different level. You know what I mean? And I think that's amazing, and it works for me now. Like I do so much now. I became a decorator. Y'all don't understand. I'm a painter. I'm a decorator. You know, COVID. You know, again, it's a hard situation. Period. But out of it, I gained so much. And I'm pretty sure you guys did. We gained so much. And one of the most important things is listen, every day, live your life as if it's the last. If you feel like taking a trip, go take the trip. Don't argue. You ain't got time to argue. That's a waste of time, a waste of energy. And it's messing up your peace. I ain't got time to argue with you. You know, but I thank God for life. I thank God for what He has done. I thank God for everything that has come out of this, you know, this season. And even now, as we move forward, there's so much more to come.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So COVID taught us peace. Life is a gift from God. Protect our peace. Be still. Appreciate the loved ones. Like it's crazy because Romaine, you and I were together before COVID hit. We were living our best lives in St. Martin for my 40th birthday, and 3 weeks later, the world shut down. We had no idea, the group of guys of us that went, that was going to be our last trip before the world shut down. And I said, I'm gonna tie it back to what Kobe said, because when he said the peace thing, well, man, do you remember when we got to the island and your phone fell in the water? And so I know this. I know this one like the back of my hand. That's my brother. He normally would have spazzed out like, "Oh my God, my phone! What if a family calls you? What if somebody died? What if we get a death call? What if this happens? What if that happens?" This Negro looked at the phone. This how I knew. I didn't know the world was gonna shut down, but I knew something was off because he wasn't being himself. Oh well, the phone is gonna stay in the water. I ain't tripping. I'm sitting there like, who is this person? I'm who kidnapped him? Because he normally is the one that panics, and he was so peaceful. Like, I got my iPad. I'll be all right. I got staff in place. They know what to do. He was in vacation mode like it was his birthday.
And the crazy part, y'all jumped back in the ocean to get the phone. I was looking at them like they were sleeping.
You can keep it.
I didn't have a phone for about 5 days. I was like, y'all can take a picture on your phone, but you know, it's just those moments like that. It's like, listen, maybe that was a sign from God. You know what I mean? And so I'm like that now. Like, I don't even answer the phone. If it ring, I just let it ring. Calvin, I answer Calvin's call, but you know, otherwise, I'm not answering the phone. Why? Because at that moment, when it comes to your peace and your time, you deserve it. You have to get it, because again, I heard Colin say, you know, sometimes we only get what's left at the bottom of the bottle. That is so absolutely true. You pour out so much, you know, that you have to find ways to replenish you so that we can keep on going. You know, sometimes we're operating off of the extra, the emergency, you know, tank of gas, and we're burning ourselves out. But in this season, I'll tell you guys, I got so much energy. I promise you, y'all ain't got to ask me 3 times. Let it
rain. So, my brothers, before we get out of here, I got to ask this question, and I always ask this question and close out my show with this. So what's next for you? You all are doing some great work in the midst of this pandemic in the classrooms, leading teachers and staff and students, serving families day in and day out. What's coming down the pipeline for you professionally? I always allow this time for people to promote what they're doing, to promote anything they're going to be, any platforms they're going to be coming on, be on coming soon, any new endeavors, any business ideas. So take your time to tell us what's going on with you. What are you working on? If you're writing a book or whatever, this is your time. So I'm gonna start with my little brother. Kobe, I am so proud of you. I've watched you grow up before my eyes to see the awesome educator you've become. I'm so proud of you, so honored to know you. I remember when you were in school, when you pledged, when you came out as an alpha. I've seen you go through all your transitions when you were working at Lou Sterrett, and then to find you in the classroom, doing some amazing things, man. My hats off to you. What's coming down the pipeline for Mr. Lou to you?
What's coming down the pipeline? So there's, I'm still going to be educating. I don't think that I'm going to leave the educational system anytime soon. I'm actually been working kind of on like a little album, educational mathematical album, where it's like, you know, songs that you can bang, you know, in your class, in your car, but it's pertain to math and pertain to getting you hyped for the classroom and pertain to education. So I'm working on that. And I'm also going to be this summer. I ain't really telling nobody this. So I'm actually
this hot off the press. I told y'all this show is the place. Y'all don't this hot out. Go ahead, brother. Promote.
My family knows, but I'm actually.
If you can, go ahead. But if it's legal behind it, I don't want you to get sued. But if you can, say it. If you can't, okay.
I say this. I will be moving out of Dallas and moving to Atlanta in July. So this is something totally big. I don't know nothing but Dallas. So, woo.
You got to go so your wings can be spread even bigger, man. You do it. I'm an advocate. You know, I've done it several times. Go where you're needed. Callings don't have assignments or end dates. Assignments do. This is your calling, man.
Yes,
go
sir.
for it. Spread your wings. Do it. It's time. It's time.
Thank you.
It's time. What about your business? Your tutoring business?
It's definitely still going on. I'm really, I haven't been promoting because I'm overbooked. I kind of every day I have clients, and I look at that as a blessing because I'm always working. There's from Monday to Sunday. I even allow clients on Sundays just so I can make sure that I instill in our youth, you know, because parents really wanted and needed. And if they really wanted and needed and I'm available and willing to, I'm definitely going to give them that service. I'm still tutoring every day and still making sure that I make educational fun in some type of way each day.
I love it, man. I love it. Congratulations, man, on this move. I will be there. As Jay Hood already said, I am an honorary Atlantan, so I'll be coming to visit and check in and just to make sure my brother is good.
Yes, appreciate
Dr. Barksdale, I think you got the biggest challenge of what's coming next, but I'm going to let you tell everybody about it.
I have the amazing opportunity to open a new school, Dr. Frederick D. Haynes III Global Preparatory Academy at Paul Quinn, where we will challenge students to be global thinkers and also prepare them with the tools that they need to become our next generation global change makers. So if you are in the Dallas area, thank you for this plug and this platform. Please send me your 6th and 7th grade students. It is enrollment season, and we are currently looking to fill seats. This is an amazing opportunity to create a pipeline to possibilities for our own Black and Brown students and expose them to a college-like environment at an early age, so they keep coming back and keep coming back for more. So Lewis, before you hit out of Dallas, I need you to promise the 6th and 7th graders. But if you're not in the Dallas area, please like us on Facebook at Paul Quinn Global School, or follow our Twitter page. Stay connected to us as we are looking to do amazing things for kids in Southern Dallas. And again, thank you, Dr. Green, Dialogue with Doc, for this opportunity to connect with these fine gentlemen, because they are the true champions and are essential workers. So it's just been a privilege again.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Romaine and my nephew EJ. What's up, nephew?
Hi. You're a problem, boy. For me, I think I have a lot going on. I got the funeral home. I have a rapidly growing ministry. I have hold on for a moment. I have an event space. I have a lot going on. I'm trying to get around to this book.
Yeah, we got a book to write.
I got a book to write, and I'm also, I'm doing some solid partnering stuff with a couple of different individuals that I push to really go to the next level. So I'm doing some behind the scenes stuff in the season, and just sitting back and allowing the money to come to me. There we go.
There you go. I love where the money resides. I love it. I love it. So, brothers, how can the people keep up with you? Do you want to share your handles, your social media handles, your Facebook, how they can find you in case they want to keep in contact with you? Kobe, go ahead.
Kobe Lewis or Mr. Lou to You. You can find me on every outlet as Mr. Lou to You, MRLEWTOYOU. That's how you'll find me.
Got it. Doc Barksdale.
For me, personally, you can find me on Facebook, Doc Barksdale. Also on Twitter, I believe. Call me Dr. B. Professionally, our campus page is Paul Quinn Global School and Paul Quinn Global on Twitter.
Love it. I love it. Romaine.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Romaine Gibbs. You can Google me, Romaine Gibbs. My phone number is everywhere, all over the internet. Amen. On Instagram, I'm R Billionaire. Or you can see me on Sundays at 12:30 at Next Level Revival Church in Philadelphia. I'm all over the place. It's fun.
What's the funeral home Facebook page?
Funeral home Facebook page is R.S. Gibbs Life Celebrations Funeral Home. R.S. Gibbs Life Celebrations Funeral Home.
Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been this week's edition of Dialogues with Doc. I've had my COVID superheroes on with me tonight. Thank you, Mr. Kobe Lewis. Thank you, Dr. Chris Barksdale. Thank you, Mr. Romaine S. Gibbs. Also, don't forget tonight's sponsor is the R.S. Gibbs Funeral Home of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Contact them at 215-880-8128. They are there to support you and give you all the help you need throughout this trying time. They do pre-needs, burials, funeral celebrations, cremations, you name it, they can do it. Tell them Dr. Verde sent you. And if you're interested in becoming a show sponsor of Dialogues with Doc, shoot me an email, drcalvin.green@gmail.com. Again, this has been Dialogues with Doc, the COVID Superheroes edition. I'll be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for another awesome and amazing topic. Next week's topic is Raising Black Sons, the Black Mother edition. So next week's topic is Raising Black Sons, the Black Mother edition. I'll see you guys on next Wednesday. Brothers, don't log out just yet, okay? I will see you guys next Wednesday at 8 p.m. on Dialogues with Doc.